What's up YouTube, my name's Will, and in today's video we're going to be talking about how much water you guys need to be drinking during the day. Having said that, I'm not just going to be talking about water.
Rackets on rackets, got backings on packets, I'm riding around in a coupe.
Alright guys, so the first question I'm going to answer is probably one that is quite common when it comes to like, how do I track my hydration? You hear a lot about, you know, you need to make sure you're drinking 8 glasses of water a day. Well, how much is a glass? Like, you know, is how many milliliters, stuff like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to answer this question: how do I know how much I need to drink? And I've done this in the simplest way possible. So basically, if you track your weight in kilograms, and what you want to do is take your current weight and times that by 29.5, and that will give you a rough number, an approximation as to how many milliliters of water you need to drink per day. And if you track your weight in pounds and stone, then what you want to do is take your current weight, divide it by 2, and what that will do is it will give the amount of water that you need to drink per day, but that will be in fluid ounces. And this is basically because most of the information available is to do with fluid ounces, and I don't understand ounces, so I like to do it in milliliters. Most things in the UK have the quantities in milliliters on the bottle or the can or whatever you're going to drink out of, and also most measuring jugs. I mean, measuring jugs will have both, but I prefer to use milliliters. So I basically used this equation and then did some math and came up with a way to do it with kilograms. So that is how you work out what your goal should be. Now, the next question you may have is, okay, well, Will, I go to the gym, I do exercise, I go running. Surely if I do that, then I need to drink more water. And the answer is yes, you do, because you sweat, your body loses water, that sort of thing. So what I've done, like in my previous nutrition videos, is I've got a scale. So if you're doing light exercise, so same as the previous scale I used, this is probably like 1 to 2 times a week maybe, then what you want to do is take this number here, which will be whatever these numbers were that you just calculated, and times that by the red number, so in this case 1.2. and then if you're medium, that means you're going 3 to 4 times a week, and you're quite regular with it, then you're going to times this number by 1.4. and if it's heavy, then that category is if you're training 5+ days a week, so pretty much every single day, at least every single day on a weekday, then you're going to times this number by 1.6. and then again, I've got intense. As with the previous scale, this is basically heavy, but you also have a labor intensive job as well, and then you're going to times your number by 1.7, and that will give you your daily hydration goal. Okay guys, so now we know what your goal is, we know how much you need to drink. Now we're going to talk about what you drink. So obviously not all of your hydration throughout the day is just going to come through water, and nor is it actually just only going to come through liquids. There is, you know, you get some hydration from food because there is water in food. However, I'm leaving that aside for this video because this is personally how I track my hydration. And as I said at the beginning of the video, I'm not just talking about water. So what I've done is I've put here 300 milliliters of water. And the reason I chose 300 milliliters is because I just taking that as a typical size for a glass that most people will use. And I'm saying that because the glass that I use most regularly can fit 300 milliliters of water in, so that's why I'm using it. And I've also got all these things around the outside. The first 5 that I'm going to talk about are the most common things that I feel people will probably want to know what they equate to in water. So firstly, we're going to talk about tea. So tea equates to 300 milliliters and is the same as water, and I think that is basically because tea is just water with leaves in. That's it. It's as simple as that. Obviously, if you add milk to that, then it will differ slightly, but for the basis of this video, we're going to make it as simple as possible and say that it is exactly the same as the 300 milliliters of water. Now, coffee Again, we all know that caffeine dehydrates you, so it is actually equating to 270 millilitres of water, and that means that it is 90% of what you would get if you had drank the same amount in water. Next, we've got soda, if you like. I don't really know another way to say that, or I guess in the British way would be pop, or something along those lines. Basically, Coca-Cola, Sprite, 7-Up, you know, you name it, Tango, any of those kind of drinks, fizzy drinks. There you go. I came up with it. Fizzy drinks. It's actually 100%, so it gives you the same hydration as if you drank water. The downside to drinking this is that it contains a lot of sugar. So, you know, people say, oh, it's bad for you, whatever. So, yes, but that's not because of this, that's because of the sugar. So, before you all comment saying, how can that be right? It's not to do with the hydration level, it's to do with the sugar in the drink. So, there we go, bet you didn't know that. Next, we've got beer. So, we all know that beer is not as hydrating as water. However, what is surprising is that it is actually 90%. It's quite high, 270 millilitres that equates to. And next we've got wine. That equates to 240 millilitres. So out of these 5 most common things that I think people will want to know, wine is the least hydrating out of all of them at 80% of what you would have got from the same amount of water. Now, the reason I've left this till last is because this blows my mind, which is milk. Milk is more hydrating than water, people. I didn't know this until a while back, and it is absolutely insane. I love a glass of milk before I go to bed, and it's a great way to kind of like help you reach your goal if you haven't quite got there yet. If you like milk, I mean, you don't have to like milk, but I'm just saying it is a good way to reach it if you feel like you can't just chug loads of water and you actually want to taste something. Milk is 120%. 120%, so you get more hydration from 300 millilitres of milk than you do water. It equates to 360 millilitres, so you get an extra 60 millilitres for your 300. Mind blowing. So the last thing that I want to talk about, guys, is, okay, well, you might be sitting there thinking, that's all very well and good, but how do I track this? I can't write it all down and add it up throughout the day. Well, I use an app called Waterminder. This is not a sponsored video. I'm not paid to say this. I'm just telling you guys what I use and what works for me. So I use Waterminder, and what this does is this does all of these calculations for you. You just pop in what you drank, how much of it you drank, and it keeps track of everything for you throughout the day. It's really, really easy to use. I'll show you it. I'm sure I'll be scrolling on the screen here somewhere, and it has loads more options than just these ones here. It has really good things for people who are into their health and fitness, like it has protein shakes. It also does spirits as well, so your vodka, your whiskey, all that sort of stuff. And it also does sports drinks, energy drinks, basically most drinks that you can think of. It's got it in there, and it has a built-in formula that it does it for you, and it basically just works it out, and you get to track it throughout the day, nice and easy, without any of this boring maths. And you can also, if you have a smartwatch, link it to your smartwatch as well, so you don't have to like get your phone out, go into the app to check it. It's right there at your wrist. So I find that really helpful, and every time I have a drink, I just click there, pop it in, and it's done. And then by the end of the day, I can see whether I've reached my goal or not. There are other factors which can dictate how much water you need to drink, such as climate, age, gender possibly, but for the purposes of this, I'm just sticking to what I know, and I'm using weight because I know how to formulate with that, so that's the reason I chose weight. If you did learn something from this video, guys, and you enjoyed my scrawlings once again, then make sure to give the video a big fat thumbs up. Make sure that you are subscribed to my channel by clicking that subscribe button below and the little notification bell next to it so you get notified when I upload. Thank you very much for watching yet another video from me. I'll see you in the next one.